Hey Haunters, it's Liam. I have a new toy that I wanted to share with you guys. I think it's going to change the way that I haunt, and I think it might open up a lot of opportunities for you guys too. I was a little intimidated at first, wasn't really looking to necessarily get into this side of fabrication and tinkering and that sort of thing, but the opportunity arose, and here we are. So what I have is the Monoprice Mini Select 3D printer. It's a $200 3D printer. If you've been following 3D printers at all, I'm sure you've heard about it. Got mine about a month and a half, 2 months ago or so, whenever it came out, in like beginning of June-ish. And I've had it since then. Been printing and designing and doing all sorts of other things with it. And I really do think that it's going to open up a lot of opportunities. Started out just, the only exposure I've ever had to 3D software or designing in 3D was really doing a very bad job at laying out my haunt in SketchUp. So, I've played with 3D a little bit, but never to the point of actually trying to build something. So I was glad when I started playing around that Cura, which I've been using for slicing, I guess, basically allows you to grab a JPEG, pull it in, and turn it into something, 3D-ish. So I started with just my haunt logo and pulled in a JPEG that I had, and had it make, this one's like 5 millimeters tall or something. So there's no real different facets to it. It really is just a three-dimensional object of a flat object. Which is fine, and I was really excited, and this actually helped me a lot getting it kind of dialed in and figuring out, what the fill ratio should be and what the top and bottom layers needed to be and all that other fun stuff, and, helped me getting the bed level and all those other things that I had no idea about before, stepping into this kind of crazy world. So, started playing with that, started getting a little more complex with creating JPEGs in Photoshop using grayscale, because Cura can actually take those items and do higher or lower based upon basically the lightness or the darkness of the specific area. So it's not kind of a 1 or 0, there's actually a lot of in between as well. So started playing with that and did some kind of embossed items. I don't think I have any here. Just playing with maybe making a keychain or other things like that. But here's the thing, just the other day started playing with Tinkercad, which is a free online CAD application. Basically makes it really easy for idiots like myself to design in 3D. I found it easier than SketchUp. Some people may not, I don't know. I just found that the measurement and just sort of the overall user interface of Tinkercad just worked better for me. So I've been using that. And what I wanted to do is, and what I've wanted to do for a long time, is to build a enclosure for my Prop1s that I use to control my haunt. So, that's nice and all, and I started thinking about it, and it's like, well, it's terrible, but what I normally do is, I take this and screw it into the back of whatever wall panel of the room that this is being used in. And yeah, that's really stupid, and it's a poor way to treat electronics, but it's the truth. I have standoffs sitting in my garage that I could use, but I have not used them. So I was like, you know what? I don't need an entire box. I don't really need to weatherproof this. Most of the stuff is either inside or, is weatherproofed in some other way. So what I ended up doing is I opened up Tinkercad and I started playing around, and I built basically just a super simple board, which again I could totally do in in Photoshop with a JPEG, but I'll show you why this actually got really interesting in just a second. And it was like, oh, I can make a board, and I can make holes in it, and I can put the standoffs on the board, and then mount this, and then use these 2 holes on the side to screw my Prop1 or whatever controller I'm using into the wall. Cool, that's great. but kind of stupid and kind of overkill for this thing, or underutilization rather, for this thing, and for 3D in general. So started playing around more in Tinkercad, and I came up with this, which, imagine that, has the standoffs built in. And the reason that I say I found the measurement more little easier to use than in SketchUp, which is probably just my lack of knowledge of SketchUp, if I'm being honest, I just found it easier to place these standoffs in the right place, and they just grab the cylinder. There's basically like a cylinder with a hole in it that you can pull into your design. So I did that. So I've got my standoffs. So because it allows me to measure, it fits perfectly. I can screw it in. I mean, it's already got the holes in the standoffs. It prints those in. So I did that. I was like, oh, that's great. And then I was like, well, what I might like to have would be some strain relief. So I built in these two little boxes, which need some work because they are square and they probably should be rounded for printing purposes, but they came out okay. You know, you can kind of, you guys can't see that at all. Yeah, but this is what I came up with. So it's a mounting board, like I said. My Prop1 fits perfectly. I can screw it into the standoffs. I've got my strain relief, so I can run all my like LED wires and whatever wires I'm running into this just through here. Maybe put a zip tie on the other end just to, you know, keep them from getting pulled out, because that tends to be a problem, it turns out. And then I can take this and I can mount this on the board. I can screw through these holes instead of screwing through these holes. I know it's terrible, whatever. Yeah, so I was really excited about that. I think that's cool. I'm going to print a bunch of these and basically just mount all of my Prop1s on them. And then I've got a couple of like audio players and other things that I'll create boards for as well. Also got a little super nerdy and branded it. So I put my skull, you can maybe see it if it's actually going to focus, I don't know. But I put my skull on it. I was going to put Ferris Haunt, but I didn't yet. But yeah, I think this is cool. I'm really excited. I think that, you know, not only building practical things like this, but almost even doing like, I thought about giving away like, instead, this is kind of crazy, but doing like Ferris Haunt keychains and giving those away instead. You know, take the skull and make like a little hole in it or something and just print a bunch of them up before Halloween. Very low cost. I mean, you know, a roll of, I'm still using PLA. I know you real 3D printer people are like, lame. But that's what I'm using and it works for me, so whatever. But it's super cheap. I mean, it's, you know, like 20 bucks a roll from Monoprice. So like, yeah, super cheap. And I can probably print literally thousands of these. It's just kind of a matter of time. So I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm really excited. I've been having a lot of fun with it. As I come up with other ideas, I'll let you guys know. Thinking of doing like a new cemetery sign or Ferris Haunt sign or all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's a small print area, but I think the letters that I can print in that area will, you know, if I do one at a time, still do a whole bunch of them and they can be a decent size. So yeah, that's my new project. I've got a few other things that I want to show you guys in the coming weeks. So yeah, I guess we're getting down, what, it's close to 100 something days to Halloween. So I guess we all better kind of get on it. Maybe I should stop doing videos again and actually work on my haunt, but that's probably not going to happen. So yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with you soon. Thanks. Bye.